Now I am going to answer all the questions that people have been asking, wondering if all these videos that we see on Facebook are true or false. So the first question is,
do Chinese people intermarry?
Do Chinese people intermarry? Yes, they have started intermarrying because of the settlement of African people in China. Now majority of Africans settle in Guangzhou because Guangzhou now is becoming the central place of getting goods. So over time, there are people who have intermarried. Is it allowed? Yes, it's allowed, but the culture doesn't allow it that much. There are parents who do not even talk to their children because they married a foreigner. And a foreigner meaning a black person. If they married a white person, that is okay. But if it's marrying a black person, yes, there are some issues. So there is intermarriage, but it's still a challenge. Yes.
How is transportation in China?
Transportation in China is amazing. Considering the number of people who are there, I liked the way there is so much variety. In China, you can either ride a bike, you can either drive, you can either use a bus, you can either use taxi, and you can use subway there. So there is variety. So even if there's traffic, you will never feel it as much because of the variety and how affordable their transportation is. People fly, people use their trains. So the variety has made transportation very swift. Yeah.
Do all Chinese people know how to fight karate?
Not Chinese people like karate. It's like for me when I got there, they told me, so can you run? I was like, yes, I can run, but I don't think I can run as our friends in the Kalenjin community can. So it's the same with Chinese people. Not every Chinese people can fight. Whatever we see on TV is just TV and it's just acting. Majority of Chinese can't fight. They can't even move karate styles. Yeah. But there are schools, there's people who are a population of people that is their specialty, and that's what they are good at in karate, but not everyone. Yes, just like us, not every one of us can run as fast. Yes.
Is Hong Kong part of China?
Is Hong Kong part of China? Yes, Hong Kong is part of China. It was first, it was part of China, and then it became a British colony. It became a British colony, and then it came back to the China, People's Republic of China, but now the government of Hong Kong is a democracy. So that is where the difference is. It is still controlled by the mainland China, but they have their own rules and policies. So yes, Hong Kong is part of China.
How is governance in China?
Oh, governance is China. This is very sensitive because I'm in Kenya and still there's that fear of, whoa, the government and the big eye and the big person is watching. But China governance is very controlled, definitely. We know it by now. They do not, you cannot say anything bad about the Chinese government, especially if you are in China and if you are Chinese. So people are really scared of their government. People are really scared of their leadership. I noticed that it is out of fear and not out of love. For me, I can say I can't say that I love my politicians, let me not say that. But I can say that I love my country, I love my government. But in China, you cannot say anything bad about the government. You cannot criticize the government. You cannot criticize the deeds of the government. So whatever the government says goes. So for me, I felt that is very sad that if somebody does something wrong, especially if it's a leader, you can see they're directing you in doing something that is going to fault you or it's going to affect your business. You cannot say it because of the fear of disrespecting your leader, of saving his face. So governance in China is very tricky. It's very different, and it's something that it needs to be checked, definitely. But is there things that can be admired? Yes. China is where it is because of good leadership during Chairman Mao's time. For him, he saw China 50 years from now, 100 years from now, and literally whatever they planned, it has literally come to pass because they wrote of where they want to see China. And China is where it is now because of good leaders, people who had to sacrifice sometimes. When you go back to history, they sacrificed a bit to get where they are. So Africa has something to get from the Chinese government, but at the same time, I don't think it's that much because I do not want to ever live in a country where I do not have any rights. Yes.
How does China handle corruption?
How does China handle corruption? Yes, that's a very interesting thing. Before, they used to kill anyone who was found in corruption, but now you just get life imprisonment. Before, they used to kill you and your family members just in case you have spread corruption in your family. But nowadays, it's only you and you will go in for life imprisonment. The thing about Chinese people, they are really trying to reduce the corruption rate in China, and in a way it has helped them to develop even more. And I think it's something that we need to take to heart as Kenyans and as Africans, that corruption is something that is killing our continent. If it's something that can be handled, let it be handled. If it's taking leaders to jail, let them go to jail. But it's something that we need to handle. And for them, their way of handling, sometimes it may look extreme, but it has worked for their culture and their community.
Is there social media in China?
Yes, there's social media in China, but it is not our social media, meaning it is not Facebook, it is not WhatsApp, it is not Instagram, it is not Snapchat. Chinese have their own versions. They have their own Google, it's Baidu. They have their own WhatsApp and Facebook, that is WeChat. They have their own Weibo, it's like a Twitter. So Chinese have their own perspective of social media. And it's because the government does not allow them to be exposed to the outside world. Chinese government controls the internet, so they can switch it off anytime that they want. There's a time during, I think 2 years ago, Hong Kong was on strike. I remember that time they were fighting for democracy, that they want to choose their own leader. And there was a strike for 2 months. Mainland China did not know there was a strike. I was like, you people, they could not even Google. The way you can go Google and say strike in Hong Kong, nothing will come up. So they switch off internet to protect their people. That's what they say. It's protection of their people from outside influence. Yes. So another thing I think that stood out for me in China was their education. China focuses more on education than anything else. They want to become number one. Their target is by 2049, when they are turning 100 years as a country, they become the it country. Literally, they become the superpower. Them, they say they are just becoming the best. But for us who are here, we know that they are trying to beat America. Now their only competition is America. No other country is their competition. Their only competition right now is America. America still has the highest GDP, even if China's economy is growing, but their GDP is not yet there. There's some things in their country that still is not in the level of China. So their education is very important. They are really trying and making education affordable so that people learn more, so that the Chinese go out more. So I need us to know something, that Chinese people are coming. Oh, and let me tell you, they're coming. And they're not coming to colonize, they're just coming to do business. So the question is, are you ready for these people? Are you ready to understand who they are? So that we ourselves can teach them about who we are. So that the only way for you to reach out to a Chinese is for you to understand them first, and then you can tell them about yourself. Because they're here for some few years. I noticed that anyone who comes to work in Kenya, they either come here for a year or 2 years. When their contract is done, they go back home. So it is for us to understand, because they will be coming. So let us understand them, so that by the time they are here, the 1 year is over, or their 2 years is over, they have learned something about the country that they came from. So thank you so much. Xie xie, 再见.